welcome. My name is Helena Gindi. I'm the Public Program Director here at the YIVO Institute for Jewish Research. Welcome to our program. Judith Berkson presents Cantorial music from the YIVO archives. With Judith Berkson, Lana Cencic, Frank London, and Cleek Schrey, and supported by the Sidney Crum Estate. Following the concert, we'll have a Q&A and conversation with the artists, so please join us for that as well. And before we begin, I'd like to make just a few brief remarks about tonight's concert, along with some general announcements. Tonight, Berkson and Ensemble will present arrangements of rare cantorial recordings from YIVO's sound archives, interwoven with original works composed by Berkson that are inspired by the collections. This concert is part of a YIVO series called From the YIVO Archives that presents the content of our archives with the general public through talks, lectures, and performances. But tonight's program goes further. Tonight, Judith Berkson presents a reinterpretation of historical material through a contemporary lens, ultimately using the archives as the inspiration for the creation of new Jewish culture. I'd like to thank Lauren Sklamberg, YIVO's sound archivist, for working closely with Judith, and Mila Sholachova, our acting chief archivist, for their support. I'd also like to let you know, on behalf of Lana, that she's not feeling quite well tonight, so please bear with her, though, frankly, I think her voice will sound lovely. And before we begin, I'd also like to say that if you support YIVO's mission and our work, please consider visiting the YIVO table out front and becoming a YIVO member today. We rely on people like you to continue our work. We're also looking for volunteers. So if you'd like to join the YIVO team, we're accepting volunteers in our public archive, in our public programming department, education, development departments, and would love to have you on board. If you're interested, please see me after the concert. And now, it's really my great, great pleasure to welcome our artists to the stage for the concert.
Thank you. We didn't want to scare anybody. Good evening, and thank you all for coming. Those first two pieces were from an opera I wrote called The Vienna Rite, which was about a peculiar story, a strange occurrence where, and this really happened, where Franz Schubert in 1828 composed a piece for a cantor in Vienna. And I based the opera kind of around that relationship, but also about the writing of the Vienna Rite, which was a brand new service. And we're going to continue with some pieces by other cantors. And we're presenting some cantorial music from Eastern Europe. And just to explain a little bit, a cantor is the person who chants the prayers in the Jewish temple. And if you're a Yiddish speaker, you say chazan. So this is chazanis music, or cantorial. And the tradition is largely an improvised tradition where there are modes and scales that you use depending on the time of day, the time of year, and what holiday it is, and so forth. And it's an oral tradition that's passed down from one generation to the next. It's been going on for hundreds of years, if not maybe thousands. And I picked 3 cantors to present. I was lucky enough to spend some time in the YIVO archive and got to hear a lot of different music. And I chose 3 different cantors. The first one is Sophie Kurtzer, who actually it's very unusual because the whole tradition of being a cantor is it's men who actually are leading, and women are not really, if you're very religious, aren't allowed to lead the prayers. So it's extremely unusual to have a female cantor. I mean, these days it's not, but in the 20s or teens when these recordings were made, very unusual. And so I really wanted to present a female cantor. They called her a lady cantor. And there's not much information I can find about her, but I just loved her voice and wanted to present. She's one of the earliest female cantors to record, so I chose her. The second cantor, or chazan, is Berele Chagy, who is from Latvia, and also an older example. He was born in 1892. And the third cantor is, I think, my favorite, or the one who I'm very drawn to and who's influenced me a lot, and that's Yechiel Karniol, who is probably the oldest cantor ever to be recorded. He was born in 1855, and he recorded in the teens and 20s, and he was already rather older at that point. So I chose a piece by him. And just say one more thing, which is that I was lucky to spend time in the archives, like I said, because this is an oral tradition, and I really believe that the way you learn the tradition is by listening and learning from other cantors. So that's my preferred method of learning, and that's why this was such a special project to me. And then you'll see my pieces are sort of influenced by these cantors, and also a little bit of like maybe some Coltrane, or maybe something else, maybe some Arnold Schoenberg. So we're going to continue with the pieces and hope you enjoy.
Shalom, Chaim shel bracha, Chaim shel parnasa. Chaim shel chilutz atzomot, Chaim shetei ba'em yirat shamayim v'yirat chet, Chaim she'ein bahem busha uchlima. Shamayim, Chaim she'ein ba'em shimalu mishelo libenu letova. Amen. ברכנו אבינו כולנו כי יחל ביור פניך כי ביור פניך נתת לנו Adoi Shem Elokeinu Ay berachamim B'Yehovah's chesed Ay berachamim B'Yehovah's chesed Uviracha בכל לית יהי ובכל שעה בשלומך
בשלומך
ברוך השם
ברוך שמו
המברך את עמו ישראל וככלוס הכל לבעדו ימלוך נורא והוא היה והוא הווה והוא יהיה בתפארה
אדון עולם אשר מלך בטרם כל יציר נברא לעת נשא בחפצו כל אזי מלך שמו נקרא
והוא אחד ואין שני להמשילו להכבירה בלי ראשית בלי תכלית ולא העוז והמשרה
אדון עולם אשר מלך בטרם כל יציר נברא לעת נשא בחפצו כל אזי מלך שמו נקרא
והוא אלי וחי גואלי וצור חבלי ביצרה והוא ניסי ומנוס לי מנת כוסי ביום אקרא
אדון עולם אשר מלך בטרם כל יציר נברא לעת נשא בחפצו כל אזי מלך שמו נקרא
ביעדו הפקיד רוחי בעת תישן ועירה וימרחי ויועסי אדוני לי ולא יירא
אדון עולם אשר מלך בטרם כל יציר נברא לעת נשא בחפצו
Judith Berkson, Frank London, Cleek Schrey, and Lana Cencic. So now we're going to have a Q&A with the artist. We're going to set up mics on either side of the hall. So if you guys have any questions about the performance, about the Cantorial recordings, please come up and we'll start an informal conversation. Does anyone have any questions?
Just to prevent the awkwardness, or to but I'd like Frank's opinion on this also. I mean, it's
Frank London.
Frank London, מבקשים אותך, מזוכתך. It was hauntingly beautiful, and I thank you for the originality of it. I'm just, maybe this is too personal a question. Are you attracted only to the dark, I mean, Shir Hamalos, for example, Shir Hamalos, B'Shuv Hashem Shiva Tzion, that's a song that's, I mean, there's so many versions of it, but the words, you know, the return to Zion, Hayinu Smechin, we were joyous, we were singing, Azorim Barina, we were planting and chanting, and it's such an upbeat psalm. I mean, more than upbeat, it is a messianic psalm, and yet this was just so dark. I mean, it was beautiful, but it was dark. I'm just wondering, you know, as a personal question for you as an artist, and Adon Olam, of course, if you go to Shul and you hear that Adon Olam, you may not stay for Kiddush, you know. You're going to wonder about if someone has Tourette's syndrome in the Shul. So I'm just wondering, what attracts you to particularly, I mean, obviously you've done a lot of research in the archives and chazonas, there's all kinds of chazonas. But you seem to zero in, and you know, this is not a criticism, it's just a question, an observation to the kind of, the dark side of things like Adon Olam and Shir Lamas, which I've never heard in years and years of listening to and practicing chazonas. So,
Wait, it was dark? No, I guess, yeah, maybe, I don't know. I mean, this Sim Shalom was, you know, it's funny, it's like you can perform it sometimes, it can seem one way, another way. Maybe tonight it seemed kind of moody. I'm so lucky to have Lana, you know, Lana Is perform and sing those beautiful high notes, and I thought that always lifts my spirits. But maybe it's just what comes out. I don't know. I'm not trying to be dark, but you know, I think that that piece was, I was going to say, I wrote for the opera. I was in the opera, so it was coming out of that. It's not, you know, people say, oh, do you do these pieces in shul? And I say, no. Sometimes. It's difficult. I mean, I think really, like, a lot of chazanas is kind of slow and dirge-like, and like the old stuff, and you don't really hear it a lot in synagogues anymore. Perhaps tastes have changed or whatever. So I think it is hard to sometimes present this kind of style, and certainly maybe my style, for sure. So. But yeah.
Yeah,
Actually, my question was, did you use any of this music in shul, and under what circumstances, a young congregation, and what has your response been?
I mean, I've definitely, some things I haven't done tonight, I've composed tons of melodies. Not tons, I wouldn't say tons, but 10, 20 different melodies that I use throughout the year, especially for the high holidays. And they're a little more user-friendly, like, congregational melodies. So I've used those. But these ones, I don't know if specifically I would use this Adon Olam, you're right. It was also coming out of the opera a little bit. So yeah, it's not really, I don't think I would use it in shul. So it was more of a concert piece. Did I answer your question?
And I also asked if you've used it, what is the response of your congregation?
What is the response? Yeah, like I said, I haven't used it. I suppose, there's a context. That's why I'm lucky to have this concert to present kind of my vision of cantorial music, which might not necessarily work in the synagogue, although, once everybody gets to know each other, I can introduce new things or whatever. But there's a place for everything, and maybe this is the place where I can present this music, and the synagogue is maybe a different kind of style. But, that being said, like, I don't know, I think a lot of people come up against criticism, like, I read a lot of the biographies of these cantors, and you find out, oh my God, they got fired, they got this, they had to go from, Russia to New York to South Africa to here to there. There's so many things. Somebody didn't like his voice. They wanted another one. They got rid of him. They got somebody else. So tastes, it's like, people are fickle, and synagogues can be fickle, and all kinds, or even like somebody like Karl Bach I was reading about, people didn't like him, now he's revered. It's just, when you're in your own time, sometimes, I don't mean to say, I wouldn't have the vanity to say this about myself, really, but like those people, it's like if in their own time, maybe they weren't understood or accepted, and take some time to acclimate. Hi.
Wait, 1 second. We just need to have questions on the mic because we're videotaping. So do you mind? We'll take him and then we'll.
Okay. Oh, sorry, I went out of turn. I'm sorry.
I don't know if it's not a question, but hearing some of the darker or melancholic melodies, I thought it was fantastic and wonderful. And I was thinking, just looking at you, I think you're young. And you referred to the archives and the treasures, the experience in the archives. So I thought, like, what could be more fantastic statement of a young person looking at archives of 100 years or more ago of that life, and reaching down to it and bringing it back to us in a way that we can just love. So I loved it.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Very nice. I guess I just want to add that I didn't mention this at the beginning, but for the pieces that I transcribed, I really tried, and I hope this came across, I really tried to get to the style of each one, each different cantor. So, like, for instance, the Karniol, that's very hard to do, and that was trying to capture his voice, and I tried very hard to capture it. So my goal was to try to get inside of these people, their voices, and try to present what they sounded like. Of course, I encourage you all to check out their recordings and hear them, and the real them. But that's what I attempted to do, and I hope it came across.
Would you talk about the keyboard instruments?
Sure. This is a farfisa. It's probably from the 60s. That's a Viscount Vox. They're both made in Italy. And also, that might be from the 70s. But and they're they're not digital, they're analog. So there's like little pickups inside of them, and they're kind of like the first synthesizer in a weird way. And I like working with them because I think they have a really nice, special sound. And of course, they work well with the chazanis because it's a lot of times organ was used, sometimes electric organ, but also just regular, pipe organ. And then Lana had a little, that keyboard there was triggering some harmonies that she was singing with. And I just thought that was an interesting idea to try, so I went for it.
I have a question. Can you talk a little bit about, because you're a cantor at Kane Street Synagogue, so there's this idea of cantorial music being functional and having a purpose as part of the service. So I was wondering how you think about your work as a cantor presenting this music in shul and what you think kind of the goals are or what you're trying to do with that music and how that differs from presenting it here in a non-religious context, in a performance setting, kind of the way you look at that, the differences between how you look at those two different contexts.
Well, I really try to learn from recordings, and I'm in shul, like I try to stick to the nusach. Nusach is the modes and scales that you use to improvise on, and I really try to practice those and stick to those. And so looking at the recordings, those cantors are steeped in the nusach, in the modes, so there's a lot to learn there. So I'm interested in nusach. I'm interested in improvising and always growing with that and learning new things. Each cantor has their own way of doing it if they're really good, if they're really improvising, and if they really have their own way. So I try, and this is like a lifelong goal of mine. It's like to keep improving and within the scales, but also to develop my own language. That's also important. So sometimes in the shul, I've been more brave to bring in my own nusach and invent things like that. So wait, I hope I'm answering the question. It's a lifelong process, and I wouldn't say that the things that I create, like my nusach, is very out. Like here, I did some kind of a little more experimental stuff. But when I'm in the synagogue, I try to respect the tradition while also looking for my own ways, just like they did, just in the same way. This is an opportunity to go a little further, or a lot further, or this was just a little further for me, but I go way, a lot further. But anyway, this is a little further, and I appreciate this opportunity to do that. But I like to respect the rules. So it's all together. I consider all the same thing. I don't think of it as this is the concert and this is the synagogue. It's the same root and the same goal.
Hi, Judith.
Hi.
I want to follow on that. Because historically, and correct me if I'm wrong, but originally the chazan was really the person who represented the congregation. It was pre-general literacy. And so they really were kind of a performer in that sense, representing the congregation. That changed over the years as everybody learned all the prayers, and I would assume, at some point people started to sing along, and the melodies changed. Do you know if there, at what point were chazans concertizing, as it were? And then I know, you look at the 1950s, seems to have been a time where there was a lot of new composition going on. And that's a lot of what we use today. And then you had the Debbie Friedmans and people like that further on. Mm-hmm. But it seems like there are both of those strains, but I don't know the timing of any of that.
Well, I think that the cantor always was, yeah, it's an interesting mix as a performer and also a leader and representing. I think that from what I understand, cantors would travel from city to or town or village to village and lead services. They were always on the move. They were considered actually quite not a profession that you necessarily wanted to go into. You know, if your kid wanted to be a chazan, you're like, no, it was almost like being an actress, you know, like in the 19th century, it's like, oh, that's bad. So they were both respected, but also like, keep your arms distance, you know, from them. And seriously, this is what I've read about them, which is surprising now, their position. And I'm assuming that they also performed other kinds of music. I think it was maybe Yechiel Rosenblatt, a very famous cantor during the turn of the century, who kind of was starting to introduce more congregational melodies. But I think people know more now and are more learned and know the prayers, but I think that people knew them then as well, but that they wanted to hear the chazan like lead, and that was like a treat for them. It was like a concert. It was like their one chance maybe in the week to hear something special, and so I think they looked forward to that, even though they probably knew the prayers very well as too. I just also want to add that, like I said, it's extremely unusual like to be a woman talking about this, because women were absolutely not allowed to lead. Even the women I transcribed, they're not allowed to lead. They weren't allowed to, only in a concert, and even then it was very whoa. So, but I don't think about it. I don't think about it like that. I try to just be objective with the music and the art form, and let people say what they want or judge or say I can or can't. I don't care about all that.
Judith, can I ask you something? Following what everyone seems to be asking, and a lot of it, as we all know, is that sort of the pendulum has swung in congregations towards everyone singing together, and that's why you're saying, oh yeah, everyone wouldn't go but and the can't especially the rap. But and to the point where a cantor today graduating from Cantorial school probably could go through it without even studying these great works, because they're learning other skills. So I don't want to ask you about kind of about your particular compositions, but just about, and not even about the atonality and that, but the idea of have you tried in your congregations to just reintroduce just the act of a cantor who sings for the congregation where it's not communal singing? And do you think that could come back more?
Well, compadre, yes, definitely. I mean, that is, I guess, a goal. It's definitely an interest of mine, bringing back, you know, the cantor as like as leading as kind of soloist, I guess I would say. I don't think it should be 100% that way, and I think there has to be a balance. But yes, I would like to see the art form, because like what Frank's saying is basically like this is very unusual, like to even hear chazanis in the synagogue in 2015. It's like extremely rare. Wouldn't you say? It's kind of rare. Maybe not in New York. It's less and less. It's a different style. It's gone in a different way. And I definitely would like to see this style, the older way of chanting, kind of brought back and looked at again and respected and studied. And yes, because it's yeah.
Do we have any last questions? Do you want to say anything?
I guess so. So, anyway, what I wanted to say was, I don't remember what I want to say, but I want. I just want to. I know he's not here, but I just want to thank. See, my father is a cantor, so I want to just he's not here right now. He's unfortunately in Europe right now, but I just wanted to mention him because he's like a person that inspired me, and basically he's the one that planted this seed. Like, he's also very respectful of the past, and I grew up listening to all the old records and having to sit there and listen, so I wanted to thank him, and that was the seed that was planted. Thank you.
Thank you very much.